Hey, welcome to the show. This episode, I'm going to be talking about what possible teams could be in the mix for Shohei Ohtani if the Angels do, in fact, decide to trade him before the trade deadline here in about a week and a half. Before I get to that, if you have a huge baseball fan, if you know someone who's a huge fan, they have something coming up and you just don't know what to get them, check out dugoutmugs.com. They have these cool mugs, as you can see. It's a barrel of a baseball bat made into a cup. It's pretty cool. Just sit back, relax, having a drink. Got your favorite team. They have all 30 teams. It's pretty cool. I'll leave a link in the description below. Check it out. They have wine glasses, shot glasses, you name it, they got it. They got a couple of deals right now with some that are signed by like Pete Rose, Wade Boggs, and one other player. I forgot who it was. But yeah, check it out. dugoutmugs.com. All right, so let's get right to it. Shohei Ohtani. Who do the Angels trade him or do they keep him? Personally, if I were them, I would trade him. You got to get something for him. You can't just let him go this offseason for nothing. There's a high probability that he is gone. Like, they're not going to be able to sign him. He wants to win. I don't know how you have him and Mike Trout and you still can't win. Like, how's that happen? They seem to try to do, like, they got Rendon a couple of years ago, but he's always hurt. He hasn't been what they were hoping for. He got the payday and he's been nothing since. So yeah, I just think you got to trade him unless you really, really think you're going to be able to re-sign him. But he's going to go for who knows how much money. It's going to have to be a record. I mean, he's a pitcher and he's a hitter and he's one of the best top five in both. That's a one-of-a-kind player. So one of the teams, for the first team, I think that could possibly trade for him, depending on where they go, the San Diego Padres. So another thing is, everyone knows he wants to stay on the West Coast. So if you're a West Coast team, you got a leg up on the rest of the league. Just the fact because you're on the West Coast and that's where he wants to stay. So the Padres, West Coast. The only problem is right now they're 45-50, 5 games below 500. They are 10.5 games out in the West and 7.5 in the wild card. So, do they trade for him and just go all in? I mean, they got a huge, huge payroll as is. So, like, what's one more player? Like, are they buyers or sellers at this trade deadline? Because, I mean, do they trade Soto similar to the Angels just to get something for him? Because he wants to get paid, and he's a free agent this offseason, and he wants to go to a winning team. So, do they trade Soto? Do they just go trade complete seller mode and get rid of everyone like they typically do and just try to restart? I don't know what it is about San Diego, but they can never feel. It's just something about them to where they always win the off season, and then when the season starts, nothing. They look terrible. I don't know what it is about them. But so, do they go with the Ohtani? I personally, I don't think they do. I just think they're too far behind. I think if anything, they're going to be sellers this trade deadline. They're going to try to get that payroll down, and probably anger some of the few fans that they do have. One of the other teams, of course, the New York Yankees. They're 4 games above 500, but they're in last place in their division. They are, where are they? 9 games back. They're in probably the best division in baseball. 9 games back and they're 4 games above 500. 9 games back, and that's just one insane. But the one thing that's gonna hamper them is their East Coast. He wants to stay in West Coast, so the East Coast is going to be a little bit of a problem. And of course, the Yankees being the Yankees, they can afford them. They'll be able to afford them. But I mean, can you imagine with Stanton, Judge, Shohei? It's like that. That wouldn't be fair. But can they catch up to the Rays being 9 games back? But they are only 2.5 back in the wild card. So the other thing is like, do the Yankees think they'll be able to talk him into staying and re-signing him this offseason? I mean, they've had like Hideki Matsui, who thrived in New York. So I think Shohei could thrive in New York, like, of course. I just don't know if he really wants to go to the East Coast, just because how cold it is. Everyone knows he wants to stay on the West Coast. That's why he went to the Angels to start with. I personally thought he would go to the Mariners because of like Ichiro, but it is what it is. I just don't see the Yankees trading for him, just because there's a slim chance of him re-signing, and the Angels are gonna be asking for a lot back for him. The other team, my team, the Giants. Again, I just don't see them trading for him because they would rather take their chance in the offseason than having to trade for him, give up prospects, and then have him gone, and they lose those top prospects, and they don't even have Ohtani. He's just a rental for the rest of the year. And you take a chance of ruining the team chemistry, which they are flying high right now. They had the most wins since like April 21st, I think it is, or something like that, in the majors. And it's just that team chemistry. They don't have really any big, huge names. That chemistry they have right now is just on fire. Every night it's somebody different. And you would think the Angels would probably be asking for a kicker would be Bailey. And Patrick, he is killing it right now behind the plate. He may not have the best average. Last I checked, it was around the 300 average, which is decent. But he's a run saver on the base, on behind the plate. They're afraid to steal him. I mean, he almost got De La Cruz yesterday, and that was with Rogers throwing, who's 85, tops at 85. So the fact that he was almost able to get De La Cruz, who's probably one of the fastest players in the majors, with Rogers throwing, that tells you how big of a cannon he has back there. Teams, they're starting to slowly stop running on testing him because it's just insane. And Bailey's got the trust of the pitching staff, even being a rookie. So I just don't see the Giants doing it. And even this offseason, I really don't see Farhan signing him, because he's just going to be way too much. And we all know Farhan does not like to spend money. He's just all about these guys with options so they can trade or send them down, bring them up, send them down, bring them up, send them down, bring them up. So Giants, as much as I wish they would be able to get him, I don't see it happening. The team that I really see him going to, unfortunately, the Los Angeles Dodgers. West Coast, leading the National League by a game and a half. California, it's right across the freeway from where he's at right now, so he wouldn't have to move. But, so I could see the Dodgers, even if they don't trade for him, I don't necessarily see the Dodgers trading for him, but I can see them making a huge push this offseason to sign him. So I saw some things like the Rays possibly trading for him. I don't think that, because if he goes to the Rays, it'll just be a rental for the next 3 months. So my top team, I think the Dodgers, they're going to be my number one team for Shohei. He's the number one team I see him going to, unfortunately. I wish I could say it wasn't. There's like a 70% chance he's going to the Dodgers, I'm thinking. Second team, we'll go Yankees. I think Yankees will be they're probably at there's like a 50% chance of him going to the Yankees. Padres, I put the Padres above the Giants just because the Padres, they're like, oh my God. I would almost put them above the Yankees just because the Padres, we have to win. We have to win. We were spending so much money to not win and be almost in last place. Like, come on, we have to do something. Even if it's just a rental, just to see how it works out. Maybe we can talk them into staying. And then the Giants. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Angels keep him and say, you know what? We're going to risk it. We'll see what we can do with him. We'll see if we can talk him into staying. Maybe we'll finish the season strong and he'll stay. Don't see it happening, but hey. So, yeah. Dodgers, Shohei, unfortunately. If you like what you're hearing, leave a comment. Hit the bell so you get notified when I come out with something new. And subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side.